I was interested to hear about the history of the steeple and the bell.
History of what, honey?
The steeple, the church steeple. You know about that?
That steeple came with the church, didn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Pretty. When they built the church, they built that steeple. And it's wonderful to come down Loch Raven Boulevard and to see that spire. You know, I still think about it as I come off from the Beltway down the boulevard. And it's a strong point to
That's funny.
the church.
When our oldest daughter was married, she was married here. And the reception was here. Everything was here at church. And we had a tornado come through just after the wedding finished. And Mr. Bill was the custodian.
Oh yes,
and my girls thought he walked on gold, you know, he walked on water, and Jean Ellen said, I want Mr. Bill at my wedding. And Mr. Bill said, well, Miss Jean Ellen, he said, I have to clean and everything. She said, Mr. Bill, you can come to my wedding. And he was there. Well, after we left, and she had a wedding cake, and it was set in the middle, and the fellowship, it was all fellowship hall then. And this earthquake came through and shook everything. And the spire, and the rafters, and the soot came down. It shook. Well, we had left, but we hadn't come back. I had told the Women's Society that they were that we would come back and get the remains, you know, and all. And we walked in, and there was poor Mr. Bill trying to scrub the floor. He had everything ready and done after the wedding, so that he could go home too. And there he was back because he had cleaned the church. Everything had to be dusted and cleaned because we made footprints all the way across Fellowship Hall. And the table where Gino's cake was as black as the ace of spades. It just, you know.
What year?
Oh, my lands, I don't remember the year. I know the year. I mean, I have it tagged, but do you know Jean Ellen? I don't know. No, I think you're after Jean Ellen. Yeah. Susan, we had Jean Ellen, Susan, Lee, and Paige. But anyway, that's when everything shook, and everything had to be checked again, and he had to come over real quick because it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and everybody had gone home, and we came back, and everything was just as the soot had come down, and the steeple shook, everything shook.
Are they still married, Dorothy?
Bill was killed.
That's right. I was thinking that was quite an omen, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and a wedding.
Well, the wedding was over. They were gone. Jean Ellen never saw any of that part of it.
That was good.
But she had another incident before the wedding, and she and her dad had come over here to check everything to make sure it was ready, and her flowers had been taken off of the altar.
Are you kidding?
No, that's the one thing that she will never get over about what happened here.
Is communion always like it is presented today?
No, we always knelt.
We knelt.
We had
the small wafers and the small glasses.
They didn't have the intinction at all.
No, we didn't even know intinction existed. That's the honest truth. Even all the years I've never until...
I'll tell you one thing, though, as the congregation's gotten older, thank the Lord for the intinction.
Yeah.
Getting up and down.
Getting up and down. I think that was the main thing.
When we had Lent, and did they have other ministers from other churches come in? Because we would have it on Good Friday, 12 to 3. Do you remember that, Debbie?
I do.
And it seemed like we had other ministers from other churches would come in and they'd all preach on one of the words. Yeah, I remember that.
Do you remember the prayer vigils we had here?
Oh my goodness.
And all night long. All night long. And you wouldn't have any fear that sometimes you may be the only person in the church. Most of the men took the night shift, late at night. They didn't want the women being in the church, by themselves. But you were able to leave the door open, and they would come in and have the prayer vigil 24 hours. I forgot all about that. That's true.
And there was a time in the early years when the church wasn't locked.
Oh yeah.
Right.
100%.
Tell us about Easter or Christmas. What kind of things would happen for the big celebrations when you had all those people here and stuff? Was it?
It was packed.
Yeah.
It's a balcony and chairs and down the middle aisle, and the windows in the back were open. Just, you know,
It was
that.
still a lot like now though with the candlelight services
Huh?
and everything.
Did you ever do a midnight one or anything?
Well, like we do now.
Okay.
We had one at 7 o'clock, a family one.
Oh, yeah.
And then we had the one, 10:30 music, 11. I don't think that has changed a lot.
Hmm.
I mean, naturally it was more crowded, but we would have the angel tree up front. And I remember one time when when Arlene was here, we worked with the school across the way here. And we would have a Santa Claus. And the children from the school would come and we'd provide presents for them and candy and everything, and that was fun.
We had,
It's a shame we don't do that again.
right, we had a lot of, not a lot, but several of the women go read to the kids
I
at
did
school.
that. I did that.
Yeah, and Betty Shock did, they all, you
Yeah.
know, Molly Shock did, they
Volunteer.
all did. And that was a great thing, really.
It was good, but then and that school worked with us well
Yes.
because we helped over there
Pleasant
with the children.
Plains.
And no, it wasn't Pleasant
Halstead
Plains.
Academy.
Halstead, I'm
Halstead
sorry.
Academy.
Right.
But then a new principal came
Yes.
in and it stopped.
Mm.
And our relationship with the church stopped. Even like she said, I would go over and volunteer for the children. I had a dear little boy that I would help to read all the time, and I was sorry when it stopped.
Yeah.
I wanted to know what is the history of the racial diversity at the church.
The history of the
Racial
diversity.
diversity.
Yeah, one of the neat
When it
things about
started-
Loch Raven today is that it's so diverse. We got
Right.
people
That's the
from.
best.
It's the
One of the best
multicultural.
parts about it.
It's the multicultural.
So how did it get to be that way?
As the neighborhood
Yeah.
changed and people came in, and we welcomed them. I mean, and with today I think we have a wonderful multicultural church. I
Absolutely.
mean, I think we showed no difference
That's right.
what color you are, or what your nationality is, and it changed, and we changed with it. The neighborhood changed, and we changed welcomely. Don't you think so, Erica?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, a lady was in here last Sunday, a black lady, and she was sitting in the back of the church, and she was new the first time she came, and a lot of us went up to her and welcomed her, and she said to me, I have never seen such a welcoming in my life as the people of this congregation. And that was wonderful. That was wonderful.
Yeah, that's one of the things I noticed when I came here to the church, how welcoming the members were. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, we have a lot of them that have said that too.
That means so much, you know. It seems a small thing, but it really meant me too. I remember when I came, I talked to you the first day I was here.
I talk to everybody, don't I, Erica?
It's wonderful. That's a real gift.
Well, I really, when I see a new person in the congregation, I go out of my way to make sure I hurry back to that person after the service and welcome them. It's important to welcome people, to let them know they're wanted and needed, and we love them, you know. It's important to do that in the church. The fellowship in this church has always been good among the people. With the different, we used to have the men, the Methodist men, but the women have always stayed together. We've done a lot of hard work in the kitchen,
Oh, yeah.
but we've always had good fellowship, you know, love for one another. You've never heard of a lot of bickering or anything like that.
Do you remember any challenging times for the church? Not really.
I can't think of any time that we really had hardships. Even when we became a church of diverse people, I don't think we lost a lot of people then.
Was
You
there
know,
any
when we
controversy
changed?
like over Vietnam or anything like that?
No, I don't remember ever people,
No, I don't either.
arguing over that or anything. Do you, Dorothy?
No.
I've never heard a lot of politics come from the pulpit in this church, which is good because that way you lose membership,
Yeah.
you know, too, because people don't always agree with what the pastor may say from that. And sometimes I guess you have to keep it together, and so you have to know when to talk about it and know when not to talk about it. It's the Methodist women today, it was WSCS, Women's Society of Christian Service. Then they changed over to UMW, United Methodist Women. And the UMW has always played a big part in the church, especially with missions. All the money we make today goes to missions. The music program is a strong point in this church. Our music is excellent. I mean, it's a very strong point in the church. I love when Sam goes up there, like when we have communion and plays, and that comes down from the, we used to have the passing of the peace, like,
Yes.
I remember that, but that kind of got out of hand.
Yeah.
I know when I go over to my daughter's church, they have it, you stay where you are, you shake hands with the people in front of you, back of you, next to you. But it got to the point up here that people were walking around the aisles and you could hardly get them back in the pews for the worship. So I think they kind of stopped. They passed the peace, all right, they passed it for the whole church. It took time out of their service then. It was hard to get them back to their pews, because everybody was going down the aisles and talking. It reminded me of the Blues Brothers when they went to church and walked down the aisle.